Live from the Akrs Broadcast Center, inside of Memorial Stadium, it's the Nebraska Athletics AD Show with Troy Dannen.
Huskers intent on getting back into this thing. Here's Wooster up top left side. Little hesitation. Comes up right. Gary's three on the way. Got it! Nothing but net for Gary. Here's Morgan with a basketball. 13 in the shot clock. Morgan hands it off to Hoiberg. Shoots the three on the way. Got it! Sammy, my boy, knocks it home.
This is Rimdahl, head of the key. Stops foul line. Deep left side. Hargrove takes the three. You betcha! Wow, do the Huskers need that second three of the game from Hargrove? Iowa playing man defense. Markowski high on the right side. DeHake with a pass high on the left side. Hargrove sets the screen. Right elbow of the lane. Hake finds Prince on the left wing. Deep three for Branch. You betcha! Branch hit 2 threes and pulls Nebraska within 4.
Here's your host, Jessica Coody.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the program. What a day, what a time to have our monthly sit-down with the leader of Nebraska Athletics, Troy Dannen, here on the program tonight. I do not believe we will have a shortage of things to talk about here coming up over the next hour. But, Troy, thank you so much for being here with us again.
I will say up front that Keith Mann asked me last night, knowing what was coming today, he said, would you like to postpone your appearance in the radio show? And I said, no, let's go, because I think, you know, as maybe some somber news, but some great news coming behind it. It was indeed a big day for us.
Well, we appreciate you giving us that time and being here with us and talking about that here tonight. So what about a couple hours ago, hour and a half ago, big, huge news hit the interwebs and all across Husker Nation, John Cook announcing his retirement. Let's start with that and your thoughts on that.
Well, you know, John Cook is the greatest coach maybe in collegiate volleyball history. And you know, so you hate the thought that he's not going to be there for your program. You know, he's got a roster in the locker room that you know is going to be in a position to win national championships. You know, moving forward, you wish he was there, but he's also accomplished so much, and you know, in some ways, is the psychological leader of the state. He's spoken 4 times this week already, knowing this was he held up those commitments. You know, for John to be able to say, it's time for me. I've got another grandbaby on the way. I've done it 25 years. It's time for me. And being able to do it and do it while he's at the top, how many people in their lives ever get to experience that? So for John, I'm thrilled. You know, and you can be remorseful for us for losing him, but you know, to be able to move right into Danny, you know, who obviously grew under his tutelage and understands and loves this program. You know, nothing's ever seamless, but this is about as good as it gets for us. And if you're going to lose John, to be able to have Danny coming in behind, with John's full-throated support, endorsement, you know, probably getting ahead of the questions you were going to ask me. But last Thursday, John came to me and said, "It's time. It's time to talk transition plan." And I said, he asked me what my thoughts were, and I said, well, I've got a plan in mind, but John, I mean, this is your program. What's your plan? What's your thought? And his plan and my plan were exactly the same. And from the moment that happened, you know, we were able to kind of execute this transition and really quickly over the last 5 days, even though I think this has been on John's mind for a while. But so it's been a whirlwind, but you know, these things don't always end so well, right? And I think we ended at a place where John is happy and confident with where the program's at going forward. I am thrilled with Danny. She is super impressive and just awesome. And you know, her excitement for this, people know her a lot better than I do because of her time around here. But they're going to be so excited with her passion, her excitement, enthusiasm. And you know, if you go back to when Terry Pettit handed this job to John, and Terry, at the time, maybe the greatest volleyball coach in college volleyball history. And how can anybody take this to the next level? And yet we see what John did. And now, you know, Danny comes in here with that same opportunity, with that same maybe expectation, that same belief that we all have. So I'm going to go to bed tonight really happy and excited, but happy and excited for John because I know this is on his terms and his way.
He's not only going to get to spend some time with those grandbabies, but also those champion horses, one of which you helped him get last December.
I did say to him when he came in and said it was time, I said, I made a mistake by helping you buy that horse, didn't I? But, you know, he's earned that right to go ride that horse. And, you know, our social media crew put together a graphic that I know was on Twitter. I'm not on any other social media that basically was him on that horse, riding off into the sunset. And I think Keith Mann had the concept for that, but he saw that this afternoon and he said, oh, wow, this is just absolutely perfect.
Before we dive into Dani and what you liked about her, I did want to get your perspective on just working with Coach Cook over this last year. You said one of the best, if not the best, in college volleyball history. What were some of the biggest things you took away, you learned from working with him over the last year?
Well, going back, for me personally, running the high school girls association in Iowa when he was coaching here, and we took volleyball from a high school gym to 30,000 people, and volleyball grew and evolved. But it was growing and evolving because Minnesota and Nebraska and Wisconsin were great, and it became a destination. But I didn't understand at the time that it was John that was growing and building it. And the last game in the Coliseum, I was the athletic director in Northern Iowa when we got whooped 3-0, by John. And there's just this admiration for the program. So, to get here and get to be a part of it and learn from him, I don't know volleyball. I think you know everything, right? But I don't know volleyball, and I certainly don't know what it takes to be at a championship level. But boy, did I learn a lot. And I think it's going to help, me and help my staff position Dani better. She obviously knows what it takes to get to the national championship as well. But he taught a lot of lessons to a lot of people in the state, and me included.
There's a lot of people that will say that the Dani Busboom-Kelly hire is a no-brainer, or what a fit. But you're the AD. You have to come to that conclusion on your own when you make that kind of decision. So what were some of the things that you really loved about her that you believe she could take this thing over?
Well, first, the only thing I think I could do in this case was screw it up because it is a no-brainer. Now, she's also building her own legacy in her own program, and not everybody wants to go home. Not everybody wants to follow the greatest. And so, I was fortunate that she did say yes, to take a phrase from I think is the jewelry commercial. She said yes. But I think in listening to her, she took a chance on herself. And she left a program that was her program, an assistant, national championship program, and went to a program that had success, but it was hurting when she got there. And she bet on herself. And she took that program, and John said in the locker room tonight, in the last 8 years, her winning percentage is higher than Nebraska's, her winning percentage at Louisville. And she's just done great things, but she did it her way. And so not only does she have the lessons from John, but the lessons that it takes to build a program without John. And that's one of the things I liked about her. She has great respect among her peers. My volleyball coach at Northern Iowa, when I was the AD there, her daughter plays for her. And I didn't talk to her during this, but I had talked to her early in the fall. And if you remember, Louisville almost lost to Northern Iowa in the first round of the NCAA regional, or second round of the NCAA regional. And I know the level of respect that my coach had for her daughter's experience and how much her daughter loved the experience. And, you start putting those things together. I know she's going to take care of the women in her program. I know she's going to recruit. I know she understands what it's like to win at that level. So you put all those things together. And everybody's right. It is a no-brainer. We only could have screwed it up. But fortunately, she wanted to come home. I'm thrilled for her. I'm thrilled for her husband, former long snapper on the football team. I'm thrilled for their 2.5-year-old, and I'm thrilled for baby to be that she's expecting again later this spring. So great time to get that entire family back in Nebraska.
Absolutely. Can you just take us through the timing of all of it and the fact that Coach Cook was able to talk to his team and Dani was able to talk to her team, and just that, it unfolded the way that it did? Yeah,
I saw a couple of reporters, classic Wednesday news dump, dropping things. But, the most important thing, particularly in this situation, was that Coach got to tell the team himself. They didn't read about it in social media. There weren't rumors flying around. And so while there were a lot of people involved in this to make it happen, from the social media group to media relations to just getting the contract done to the business up, there's so many people involved. And the fact that it didn't get out, and the fact that the coach was able to go tell the girls himself, that Dani was able to go tell the athletes at Louisville herself, it means so much. And, they are students. they had classes today. Now's the first time that we could get the teams together. And it was also important that it happened simultaneously. And so the Louisville meeting was happening at the same time the Nebraska meeting was, because we knew as soon as John was announced, that speculation would happen. And the fairest thing, and Danny was adamant about this, the fairest thing to her girls was they not be put through the torture as our coach staying, as our coach going. And so we were able to line this up. It was maybe a once-in-a-lifetime sequence of how it worked, but Louisville and Nebraska worked really well together behind the scenes. And the fact that the women heard from coaches and not from anybody else, they're due that respect, and very, very rarely do they get that respect in these transitions.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about just, for you to be able to, you're sending out this legendary coach, but then be ready on the same day to have everything just go the way that it went, where you're naming the replacement the same day you're announcing it?
It works as long as John, the retiring coach, allows it to work. And I made the comment about everything John has done here is about trying to put the program in its best possible position going forward. And by allowing this all to happen, he didn't want the focus to be on him and his retirement, and here's what I did, and thou shalt give me a 2-day or 2-week or whatever worship period. It was, no, I've made my decision, let's go, but let's get this going and make sure the program moves forward uninterrupted. That's total credit to John.
And then you've got some news. We're going to be having quite the celebration welcoming party for Danny when she gets back.
Yeah, so Danny is going to be in town tomorrow, meet with the team. I think she's talking to all of them tonight by phone, but she'll be up here tomorrow and then back, just an up and back, really nothing public, at least currently. And she's got some plans. There's Big Ten coaches meetings early next week, but she'll be back next Wednesday with her family. And then on next Thursday afternoon, we're going to have a public, not an unveiling, but a celebration of Danny's arrival. And we'll do that in the Devaney Center. I know it's going to be 2 o'clock on Thursday. Tomorrow, our department will start sending things out. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, because there was only so many people I wanted to involve in this, and maybe we didn't need to have that plan just yet. But I expect, we'll have a large group in there. I think the Big Ten Network, tomorrow John is having a press conference to talk about his decision, and I think the Big Ten Network plans to broadcast that, and I'm pretty sure the Big Ten Network will pick up the celebration as well. Volleyball is special here. We all know it, and just the immediate reaction I saw nationally, I think people across the country know the volleyball special here.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, Huskers.com and all of our social media platforms. We'll keep you posted on that and the plans for that. Last thing, and then we'll get to a break and move on, but it's so rare that a coach like Coach Cook retires, and then yet there's still this amount of excitement and optimism for a program moving forward. Just what does that say about the state of this program and Nebraska volleyball and just what Coach Cook's done and what Danny could bring to this program?
Well, when we look back at Coach's legacy, we'll look at trophies and Final Fours and wins and all that other stuff. Coach's legacy is being cemented right now because he's passing on a national championship level program to his successor. And he didn't squeeze everything out of it and then run away and then say, you guys were never going to be as good after I left. And so, again, that rarely happens, but Nebraska volleyball it's more than a sport. And I didn't totally understand that. I thought from a distance, just being here almost a year now, it's more than just a sport for this state. And so the fact that he was willing and able to do that, pass it on in such a way, the fans in this state, everybody talks about they're the greatest fans in the world and everything. And every school thinks they have the greatest fans in the world, but we embrace our programs just differently here. Mm-hmm. There's a level of ownership, level of respect, support for the athletes. And when you love something, you should be critical of it. And there's criticism when things don't go well. I get it. But, that's why we're having a celebration for Danny. That's why we think we'll have several thousand people in the building for Danny. Because as much as her welcome is about, hey, welcome, Danny, let's go, those happen every place. We're not often able to let the fans in and be a part of those things. And they own this program. They've made the program what it is. So, it's a neat transition that everything comes together. And I hate to be the one to, only in Nebraska, but this would only happen in Nebraska.
Great stuff. All right, we got to get to a break here on our Athletics Director Show. Coming up on the other side of this, we're going to be joined by Tyler Kai, the Deputy Athletic Director for Revenue Generation. They've got some history going back to Tulane, so going to have some fun with Tyler joining us here in just a few minutes. But keep it here. Much more to come. Still lots to talk to with Troy Dannen. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Hey Husker fans, get game ready at Alumni Hall, your ultimate Nebraska Cornhusker shopping experience. Upgrade your tailgate gear, shop officially licensed Nebraska clothing for the family, or load up on hats, gifts, and accessories. Spend $150 and you'll receive a $10 reward on your next purchase with Alumni Hall's Hall Pass rewards. Nebraska students, faculty, and military receive 10% off when shopping in store. Come shop at Alumni Hall, located in downtown and in the South Point Pavilion in Lincoln, or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Husker fans shop.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker Black Shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We're recruiting Teammates mentors and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Attention, Husker Nation. Are you ready to power up your game? Sapp Brothers bleeds Husker Red, and our high-quality off-road red diesel is the fuel that powers your equipment. As official sponsors of the Huskers, we're here with a touchdown offer with the Sapp Brothers Go Big Red Fuel Giveaway. Contract your upcoming fuel needs by February 1st and enter to win 1,000 free gallons of our off-road red diesel. Keep your engines roaring and your equipment running strong. With this winning opportunity, Sapp Brothers fuels Husker Nation. Visit sappbros.net/fuel giveaway for more info.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to our monthly Athletics Director Show with Troy Dannen. And as he's done the last few visits, he's brought on a special guest to join him here for a segment, and today it's Tyler Kai's turn in the hot seat, the Deputy Athletic Director of Revenue Generation, and thank you for being here with us.
Well, thanks for having me. Quite the day to join.
Yeah, what a day. You guys actually knew each other even before Troy got here. It goes back to the days at Tulane. So I guess how excited were you when they announced Troy is taking over as a leader here?
Well, it felt surreal, truthfully, because at the time I was on my way to the NCAA men's basketball tournament. I pulled into a parking spot in the Epley Airfield to fly out to Memphis, and I looked down on my phone, and I've got hundreds of text messages and tweets and everything being sent to me. So I think I sent Troy a text and I said, "Is this real?" And all he sent back was a thumbs up. And so it felt really good. I mean, to your point, Troy and I have known each other for a long time. He recruited me from Tennessee to Tulane. I worked for him for about 5 years. So yeah, it was very comfortable to be around Troy again. And we had a lot of success there. And we're starting to talk about a lot of things that we're going to be doing here that I think will emulate the success on a really large scale too.
You actually told him, right, when he was coming to Nebraska, when he had the opportunity, you got to go, you got to take that job?
Yeah, I did, and he reminded me of that when I got here. He said, "Don't ever forget what you told me." He says, "If Nebraska calls, you have to go." Was my advice to him. And so, again, he's an Iowa boy. I'm an Iowa boy, so there's a little bit there for us as well. I did joke with him. I said, it shows the power of going out well. Because, you never know when you're going to get reunited with somebody. And in this business, you never strain relationships. And
that's right.
So we'd stayed in good contact since he'd left.
That's awesome. Well, Tyler, let's talk about some of the things going on with the Husker Athletic Fund and what you guys are working on. And you're reimagining some things and how you're rewarding people and the priority points. So tell us about that and how you rework that.
Yeah, so much like the landscape changing in college athletics right now, we think this is a great opportunity for us to accelerate into the new era of college athletics. So really, when we were looking at what we wanted to do and how we needed to restructure things, there were 3 priorities for us in the Huskers Athletic Fund. And for those that are not familiar with what the Huskers Athletic Fund is, we're the official fundraising office of Nebraska Athletics. So we generate revenue for all of our athletics programs and our student athletes. So it was really trying to provide as many resources as we possibly could so our athletics programs could set the standard in college athletics. In addition to that, we also wanted to create clear pathways for all of our members, new and existing, to get access to high demand things like season tickets, parking, and exclusive benefits. And then lastly, it was really to reward those that are giving generously to us and supporting our areas of greatest need. So that drove us to think about how our priority points are structured, how our membership levels are laid out, and then even more so how we reward people by giving them access with the ways we rank them and engage them. So
can you tell us about some of the areas of the greatest need for you guys?
So our 3 areas of greatest need right now is unrestricted support to the athletics department. And the reason why that's important to us is because we don't know exactly what the landscape is going to look like, but we do know that if we have the ability to have unrestricted support from our fans and our donors, it's going to allow us to pivot quickly as the landscape shifts. Secondly, and probably just equally as important, is 1890 Nebraska. So NIL has become really the #1 way that we recruit and retain student athletes. And often the way that I describe what my office does and how we collaborate with 1890 is 1890 recruits and retains student athletes, and we develop student athletes. You need both. You can't have one or the other. And so we really have partnered closely with 1890. In fact, in July, we were really one of the first schools in the country to start recognizing NIL contributions from a collective into the official fundraising office. So we are really one and the same. We meet with them every week. We talk strategy. We talk about ways that we can try to maximize the potential of our programs through NIL. So it's been a really good resource. And then lastly is a capital project that we're working on, and that's our track and field project. So pretty sizable phase 2, turning it in from a competition facility, or excuse me, a practice facility into a competition facility. So actively raising money for that project right now too.
So you had said this, there's so much going on, a lot unfolding, and it kind of changes day to day. But I think, and we've been asked this question a lot too on the show, but when people are thinking about giving and donating their money, there's some confusion on where to give and how to give and what's most important. So I guess what advice would you give there in terms of the collective or you guys or where people need to go and explore those options?
Yeah, we've tried to make it very clear, and this goes into that part about priority points. We understand that our fans really they put priority on priority points, and it is a way that we rank donors in our membership. But the areas of greatest need get 10 points per $100 that you donate. The next group is 5 points per $100, and that's areas or other areas of support. So those are our excellence funds, which I want to talk a little bit about as well. And then finally, 3 points per $100 for all priority seating contributions. So to us, really, if you're looking at trying to make an additional donation to the Huskers Athletic Fund, or even just a donation to the Huskers Athletic Fund, it's pretty clear that we really want you to think about those 3 areas of greatest need. If those don't excite you, then the next group is our sport excellence funds. And then really at the very minimum, we want to make sure that folks they get the same number of priority points they got in our previous system with all their priority seating contributions. But that third column of rewarding those that go above and beyond their priority seating minimums is where the 5 and the 10 came from. I often say when people ask me this question, if I'm going to give $500, where do you want me to give it? I think it really boils back to those 2 areas, development and recruitment and retention. So if you want to consider giving $250 to 1890 and $250 to the unrestricted fund, that is an ideal situation for us right now.
Great stuff. Okay, well, tell us about those sports excellence funds.
Yeah, so we're going to be launching or relaunching these sport excellence funds. And the best way I can describe it is that if you have specific affinity or passion or love for one sport or another, this gives you an opportunity to directly give to one of those areas. So if you're a big soccer fan or volleyball fan or football fan and you want to support that area, if you go to Huskers Athletic Fund, or Huskers.com/donate, it's going to list out those areas that you can support. That will be officially relaunched with Glow Big Red, which is the day of giving that's happening in February. And we plan on sending out some communication to all Huskers Athletic Fund members explaining what these new funds do and how to support them and why they're important. But to me, because we have so many fans that are really passionate about specific sports and programs across all of our programs, we wanted to give them an opportunity to directly give to those 2.
Great stuff. Okay, tell us about Glow Big Red. What do we need to know about that?
Yeah, so February 12th through the 13th, noon to noon. So starting noon on February 12th and ending at noon on February 13th will be the University of Nebraska-Lincoln campus Day of Giving. Husker Athletics is participating in that. It's also an opportunity to support each of those excellence funds. And we have a couple challenges that make it fun. Really, these days of giving are not necessarily about raising significant dollars. It's about participation. And so we really want everyone to consider making a donation on the day to see the collective impact of their contributions. So we have a challenge where we're pitting up all of our athletics programs against each other. The program that gets the most number of donors will get a challenge fund. So first place will get $15,000, second place $10,000, and third place $5,000. So it's an opportunity for those excellence funds to grow a little bit more on that day. And then, like I said, participation is really important. So we're also setting a goal of 700 athletics donors, unique donors on that day. And when we achieve that goal, we'll unlock another $10,000. So really fun. It's intended to be fun and also show some competition and have a good time with it.
Oh, that's awesome. Troy, how important is the role that Tyler has and his team?
Well, he's accountable for more revenue into the department than anybody else is. You know, from ticket sales to donations, it's vitally important. And the thing to always remember is, you know, you think you have enough, but you never do, because everybody else is running, and you can't stop running as soon as you do. People pass you by. So, you know, the new initiative that Tyler is leading, you know, it's important for us because college athletics is evolving in ways some of us like, some of us don't. But it's evolving, and we want to keep running in this new world and have success. You know, we want volleyball to remain the preeminent program in the country. We want football back joining it at that level. And, you know, we have, you know, you look across the board at the strength of our program, both baseball, softball ranked, you know, bowling, right, you know, just name it over and over and over again, wrestling ranked 5th in the country. Excuse me. So the ability to continue to fund everything at a high level, at a championship level, frightfully important, and it's something I've said on this show many, many times. The give it aren't factor at Nebraska is not to be beat, and it's the envy of a lot of people, and Tyler gets to take advantage of a big give it aren't factor here at Nebraska.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's
Anything
exactly
else?
Right. No.
Final
Appreciate
thoughts?
you having me on.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
And that is Tyler Kai, the Deputy Athletic Director for Revenue Generation. We got to step aside for a break. When we come back, something really special took place today here on campus, especially to those here at the Huskers Radio Network. We're going to talk about that with Troy Dannen. Keep it here.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Attention, Husker Nation. Are you ready to power up your game? Sap Brothers high-quality off-road red diesel is the fuel that powers your equipment. As official sponsors of the Huskers, we're here with a winning offer with the Sap Brothers Go Big Red Fuel Giveaway. Contract your upcoming fuel needs by February 1st and enter to win 1,000 free gallons of our off-road red diesel to keep your engine roaring and equipment running strong. Sap Brothers fuels Husker Nation. Visit sapbros.net/fuel giveaway for more info.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Dorothy Lynch Homestyle Light and Lean Dressing. Endless flavorabilities. Welcome back to our Athletics Director Show. Monthly chat with Troy Dannen. Lots going on, and we have some text for you. Had a question about season ticket holders, will they be giving the option of paying the cost of obtaining paper tickets since not everybody has a computer, or is it 100% familiar with the online process? What would be your answer to that?
Yeah, there's still a plan for those who've never used the mobile ticketing app to be able to get hard tickets. There's a form. I can't tell you how to get to it, but there is a form available through the ticket office to do that. I will say, it's almost like going back to the old, everybody wanted airline tickets, right, that had 4 different red copies, if you remember those. And it's hard to make the change. But as we've made the change at PBA, it's been seamless. Maybe it's a little bit of an educational put. So I think we'll get there. I don't think it's as intimidating as anybody. So we're giving people, as anybody thinks it is, we're giving people some option if you haven't been through the mobile ticketing process. But I don't think that option will be there forever either.
So your suggestion would be to call the athletic ticket office?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. My suggestion is always call the ticket office. But that would be the best way. But I do know there's an option if you have not used mobile ticketing.
Okay, and another text we got, and we're getting people asking it on the chat. There's been lots of chatter about this. The Savannah Bananas, with Kyle Perry signing a deal with them. Any chance of having the Bananas in Memorial Stadium?
Yeah, Kyle kind of called me out a couple times on social media, so it's time for a response. And I've talked to the owner. I've talked to most everybody. They're ready to start their season. Their 2025 season's locked. I think they're going to be in 3 NFL stadiums. I think they're playing at Clemson's football stadium this year. But we actually have a meeting on the books with their team owner in February, and we're going to get something worked out. I mean, I would love to get them here. It's the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball is what it is, and it's a fun show if you haven't seen it before. I've had that chance, and so we hope to get something lined up for 26 with them and get that working here shortly.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I want to see them. I have not seen them, but you're right. They're blown up on social media. I hope Kyle's working on his dance moves, but it's not just it's a show. It's entertaining. It's fun.
Yeah, it is, and I haven't talked directly to Kyle, but I will say when this date gets booked, he better be working on something pretty special when he comes home, because there are a lot of people who are going to have very high expectations of him.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, what a day it was here inside Memorial Stadium. If you haven't seen the video, check it out on Huskers. Huskers are all of our X accounts and Instagram, but a really special day. You had the opportunity to welcome Greg Sharpe into the stadium. You surprised him. You pulled a fast one on him. You gave him the belt, but then you had a special treat for him waiting at the radio booth.
Yeah, the surprise was the funnest part. It's like we kept 2 secrets today, which is kind of remarkable. But we do a monthly Husker of the Month, Employee of the Month, if you will. We call it Husker of the Month for whatever the reason. And Greg was it. And so he came in. His family was inside the building. We presented him with the belt, which is an honorary belt that he has for the next month to celebrate that. And then said, under the guise of how do we get him to the radio booth? Hey, come up, let's take some pictures. And went up to the radio booth, and he got to see the Greg Sharpe radio booth on there. And the neat thing for me is, again, I haven't known him that long. He's just an incredible person. He's got pipes, right, and he's got skills there. But he's a friend to everybody. And there's when you have the right radio voice, there's just a comfort in that person. And I think that's what he's been to everybody. And rarely, like in my job, rarely in your career do you ever get to take somebody like that and put their name on something, emblazon their name for perpetuity. And that Keith Jackson, I mean, that was my guy growing up, right? And to say Keith Jackson's name is down the hall and there's Greg's name. It was a neat honor, and it's a well-deserved honor. And, Greg's been through heck and back. And the way he's attacked this is the first time that you and I have done this show together. I've done the show every month, and Greg's always been here.
Yeah.
And he's found a way. And he's going through some things, right, that we would never wish on anybody. But he's been a Husker. And he's cared about the Huskers maybe more than he's cared about himself. Or at least that's the impression we've all gotten. So it was a pretty neat deal. The baseball coaches and staff were all there. And really everybody in the department that he works with, the radio crew was there, the media relations folks were there to celebrate with him, along with his family. And his family didn't know everything that was going to go on. So it was a very neat day to get to recognize somebody that means as much to all of us as Greg does.
You know, when he walked in, he saw the quote, his legendary call of the Northwestern game, and it took him a minute to see the Greg Sharpe radio booth. That was neat, too, and you could tell he's overcome with emotion.
Yeah, and you know, I was worried that if he got emotional when I was talking to him, I couldn't keep my emotions in check, just because I just have grown to have so much respect for Greg, and it was, when I say it was neat to see him get emotional, I'm glad it meant something to him, and meant what we all hoped it was going to mean to him.
Why was it important? Did you come to the decision when you were talking through it to name the radio booth after him?
Well, given his health, we don't know if he's going to be back in there calling games in the fall, and you've done it since 2008. It's a long time. It's a long legacy, and it wasn't just that, you've done it for a long time, so your name should go on there. It's how he did it, and it's back to those relationships and how much he is a part of Husker history, Husker culture, and just what I saw today, and I heard from Husker fans, whether just some emails and texts or some social media stuff, I saw it magnified again today how much he means to people, and that's why you put his name on there. How much did he mean to people? And that call from I obviously wasn't here, but Matt Davidson was here because I think they were working on that together and reliving and laughing that. But as we all grow up, those legendary calls are what sticks with us from our games. That's sometimes why we're fans, because you remember those legendary calls. So to have that emblazoned, and not everybody's been to the 6th floor, but you walk off the elevators and you come off, and that's right there. That's the first thing you see. So it's a neat deal, and it wasn't done just because we had a blank wall. It was done because what he's meant to us, and we should never forget.
Well, a special thank you again on behalf of the Huskers Radio Network, but I know a lot of fans, like you said, were really moved by the gesture. So thank you for doing that, and I know that it meant a lot to his family too. Yeah, it was fun to get to be a part of and get to do. And I'm glad he felt good enough to come up there today and be a part of it, and it's a very memorable day for a lot of us. Really that's the way the day began, and then how the day ended. This is one of those, you don't have days like this very often, and with a lot of celebrations and a lot of excitement. All right, we're going to get to a break. On the other side of this, we've got some football news to pass along. Keep it here on the Athletic Director Show.
In the game of life, we all face tough moments. Sometimes it feels like we're up against a formidable defense with no way through. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the final whistle. Reach out, speak up, and let's tackle this together. Because in Nebraska, we're more than a team. We're family. Remember, in times of need, call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Final segment here with Troy Dannen on our monthly sit down with the athletic director. All right, we got some football news to talk about, and you've got a date we need to circle.
We do. I think it's 26th, right?
Yes.
April 26th, and I am not going to call it a spring game, and do not call it a spring game because I do not expect it to be a game. I don't know what it's going to be just yet, and really that's going to be Matt's call, but I will say true games, as we've known them in the spring, are falling by the wayside for a lot of reasons, but there'll be something. I'm internally thinking more of a fall sports preview and maybe engaging volleyball and soccer in some way, shape, or form, and really celebrate the fall sports and kind of whet the appetite for what lies ahead. I think football staff's going to figure out exactly what they want to do over the next few weeks. But it's going to be the 26th of April, and at least we can circle the date there and then figure out what that looks like here down the line.
I'm sure Coach Frohl has some thoughts and ideas as you guys brainstorm on what you want that to look like.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's going to want to wait till he gets into practice a little bit to see exactly what he wants out of it.
Right.
Whether it's a 7-on-7 thing or whether he brings some alums back or whether he plays flag football. I don't know. But a de-emphasis on the game part, the contact part. It was one of my first experiences here last year. We had 2 ACLs during that game, and so it's a different era from a compensation standpoint, and the NIL and the investment there. Transfer portal opens up right after those spring game dates, and so I expect something that's not going to be televised, but something there'll be a celebration of our athletes. We'll get to see some skills and see what they've got, and then go from there.
Awesome. So stay tuned for more information on what that looks like, but at least you know the date, April 26th coming up. Okay, so we got some new turf in the Hawks Championship Center.
We do, and immediately after the team left for New York City, the old turf was torn out and new turf was put in. It looks good. I tweeted a picture of it, and people lost their collective minds because of this, that, or the other thing. But that turf's in there. I've talked to the players. They deem it fast. They deem it soft. So far so good with the players. Inside it's tough for sometimes that turf to settle, and there are many fewer pebbles. It's much thicker grass, if you will. The plan going forward, and I've said this, but there's still confusion, so I will set the record straight once again. We're going to put new turf in the stadium after the spring, and that turf will not be permanent. That we're not putting grass in there yet, because when the stadium work is done, it will have to be done from the inside out, and so that will tear the field up. So at the point in time we start to work inside the stadium, we will take this turf up, find another place in our complex and reposition it, so we will have another outdoor turf field. We haven't figured out where that's going to be, and then grass will follow at some point in time. But we will have the new turf in there, and it's consistent turf from the 2 buildings. So it'll look a lot different. Yes, we have red end zones. Yes, there's red on the outside of the end zones, and no, I'm not worried about it. But it'll have a good aesthetic look. It'll have a good feel, and when you're recruiting the athletes right now that Coach Rule's getting, fast is a good thing to have in your turf.
Makes perfect sense to me because, like you said, that grass can be hard to maintain, and you don't want to tear it up.
No, and you only get one chance, because when we put grass in, we'll put a heated subsurface in to keep those roots alive, assuming we're going to be playing into December at some point in time. And so, there's going to be millions of dollars of expense in putting a good facility in there, and you don't want to tear it up.
Okay, well, we are, a week away almost from Husker softball opening up. Husker baseball also 2 weeks out from them. Both teams ranked in the top 25, and they have been loving a new facility over there. Yeah,
the Sandhills Global youth facility that, it's not youth baseball season yet, so those fields are open, completed, and baseball's had a chance to be out there all week this week, and what a deal in January to get to go outside. When I was at Tulane, you wanted to play those northern teams because most of them had never gotten outside before they came south to start the season. But great competitive advantage, and we start pretty aggressively in that first tournament, so it's good to get outdoors. Great facility. Softball's used that facility a couple of times, and I stopped to practice and met with the team today, and they were at bowling. So, it's fun to see them. I'm just so happy they get a little bit of weather like this to enjoy and get outside. And I knock on wood, let's hope this weather continues for the rest of the winter.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be excited about both those programs, though.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited to see Jordy pitch.
Mm-hmm.
When I got here, I joked with the team today. I got here late March. It snowed the game I went to, and we were on our fourth pitcher, because of a rash of injuries. And so, to see the team at full health, we all have great high expectations, but I'm really looking forward to what softball can do. Baseball as well with the returnees they got and having a chance to meet the team. There's 2 teams ranked in the Big Ten in both softball and baseball, 2 in softball, 2 in baseball. Nebraska is the only school that's got, 1 of each, right? So, at a place like this and this far north of the Mason-Dixon line, to have those diamond sports, highly competitive. And, it's not lost on me that north of the Mason-Dixon line, west of the Mississippi, there's no place that averages more fans for baseball than Nebraska does. And, it's a testament to what I talked about earlier with our fan base. But it's going to be an exciting spring for our folks, to be sure.
Got a couple more minutes left, but I did want to give you a chance to brag on the fans a little bit more for a couple of huge performances, the way they showed up for wrestling with a record-breaking attendance, and then also women's basketball and PAC PBA. You put out the call, they answer.
Yeah, they always do. The PAC PBA was a great event, and they were impactful. We had a couple streaks where we didn't make shots, and Ohio State's a really, really good team, and I hope we get to play them again at some point in time. But they created an atmosphere that was spectacular in the building, and I talked to some of the players the next day in a meeting, and they were still raving about how it felt to play in that environment, and what we can create from an advantage for our athletes. Again, versus most schools, you always look for your advantages, and our fans are one of those great advantages. And wrestling, that was unbelievable. And wrestling is I've said this before, I'm pumped to get back to a wrestling school. Wrestling is a great sport, and to do what we do, I'm not sure anybody comes as close to Penn State as we did, and we probably think we could have won 3 more of those matches, but that crowd willed us to some things. And again, not just passive purveyors, but active participants and influence in the outcome of our events.
Well, and they bounced back with a dominating weekend last weekend.
Had a great weekend in Michigan, and now headed to Indiana for, I think, Purdue, Indiana this week. And Coach Manning, there's a reason he's won 300 and some duels. He knows how to get teams ready when the Big Ten comes, and I'm looking forward to March, late February with the Big Tens, and then March with the NCAAs to see what happens with him.
Big win tomorrow with Coach Hoiberg and his group, and I know they're doing everything they can to right this ship, but they got a good opportunity tomorrow at home.
Yeah, and you could sense Coach's frustration in his media interviews, and sometimes you get in these funks and you just cannot pull yourself out no matter what you do. And he's pushed a lot of different buttons, and it feels like you're getting out of it, and then you fall right back into it. I know fans are disappointed. I've also, for me, it's 18 years of doing this. I've seen a lot of these, and until something good happens, something bad continues to happen. And so, again, the impact of being at home, and I know we've lost a couple at home, but getting that as Coach said, getting our identity back and letting the fans embrace that identity and carry us forward, then the good things happens. And then, anything can happen once you kind of get that monkey off your back.
Absolutely. All right, 30 seconds left. Football also announcing they're going to bring back the dunk contest. You got a pick for the winner of the dunk contest?
I do not have a pick. Dylan texted me today and said, I just want to make sure you're bringing your son, my son William, who's 10, to the dunk contest because it's going to be a spectacular night. So he must know that something's on deck.
Up.
So looking forward to seeing that. And I'm sure Coach Rule is saying nothing spectacular, just go up and dunk and come down and let's move on and get ready for football practice.
Thanks for being here with us.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Hour 2 up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Good evening. I'm Henry Goodwin, and our sports sticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Huge news in Husker volleyball today is John Cook announced his retirement today after 25 seasons as head coach for Nebraska. During his time in Lincoln, Coach Cook brought home 4 national championships, 14 conference titles, and has more Division I volleyball wins than any other coach this century. The Huskers should be in good hands, though, as Danny Busboom Kelly has been named the new head coach. The former player won a national championship at Nebraska under Coach Cook and has spent the past 8 seasons with Louisville. Busboom Kelly took the Cardinals to 2 national championship matches, 3 national semifinal matches, 5 regional finals, and 4 ACC titles. In Husker basketball news, Keisei Tominaga will be in action during All-Star Weekend as the former Husker was selected to the NBA G League up next game. Tominaga will join former Husker Bryce McGowens, who was selected Tuesday as part of the Castrol Rising Stars event during NBA All-Star Weekend in San Francisco. After collecting 2 dominant dual wins in Michigan, the number 6 Nebraska wrestling team will host Wisconsin and Lincoln this Friday at the Devaney Center. The Huskers look to claim another conference win in their penultimate home duel, taking on the Badgers at 8 p.m. The Nebraska women's golf team begins its 2025 spring season by traveling to Orlando for the PDI Intercollegiate, hosted by USF, from February 2nd through the 4th. The Nebraska men's gymnastics team is traveling to Champaign, Illinois to face number 2 Illinois in its first Big Ten Conference meet on January 31st at 6 p.m. That meet is available to stream on Big Ten Plus. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Now get ready for Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Andrew playing like a man possessed here, going over 1,000 in his career early on in this game, and the give is to him, and the dunk, and Nebraska's tied the game at 24, and Morgan's got a dozen. 1:53 to go. Williams on the elbow. Buchton Gerald left side. Eulis extra pass. Hoiberg puts it up. Got it. Sammy, my boy. Sammy, my boy, cuts this lead down to 2 points.
Rimdahl, a couple of ball fakes, bounces into Prince at half court. And Prince is going to make a run on a falter. Steps back for 3 to tie the game. You betcha! Biggest shot of that freshman's young career. Timeout. We're tied at 75. Britt Prince is 19. She steps back and sticks a 3-pointer, her 5th of the night. Hey, going to drive into the lane, stops, pops, 9-footer, front rim, gets her own rebound, backs it out. Prince, right elbow, pull-up jumper, rolls, no. Markowski fights for it, gets it out to Petrie. 3-ball on the left wing, you betcha! 4 chances at the basket, and Petrie knocks down a Central Valley 8.
Now that's old school Husker outwork you basketball.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, going to be flying solo here tonight. So if you want to be a part, call in. Give us your thoughts about John Cook retiring, Danny Busboom Kelly taking over, all of that good stuff. You can text in, call in, 402-413-2400. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your takes on the big news of the day. And wow, what an hour. Appreciate Troy Dannen spending the last hour with us. It was great to just, that first segment, just talk about the process of all of it and hearing that Coach Cook came to him and said, hey, it's time. He's ready. And, you know, with where Coach Cook is at in his life, he's accomplished a lot of things. And we heard him say over the last couple of years how he's been enjoying it and really embracing the stage of life and just he found a new level in his late stage of coaching. But, you know, just with all the things that with his family and Lauren having another grandbaby on the way and those horses but you cannot say enough about the state of the program and where he decided to walk away and win and how he did it and just wanting to make sure that everything was in the best interest of this Husker volleyball program moving forward. So just kudos to Coach Cook and I had heard the news and I was also shocked. I don't know if I was, obviously if you know the day's coming at some point, but I just, with the way that he's gone about these last couple of years and how much, you could tell how much fun he was having, and with a lot of that talent coming back, he, I guess I was shocked, but what a career, and just everything that he's done for this program. It's not easy to maintain that level of success for as long as he's done it, and how he's evolved. I've had so many conversations with players on the dig, with Lauren Cook West, his daughter, just about how much he changed from when he first took over this program to where he was this last couple of years, how he became more of a player's coach and he was enjoying it and having fun, and those relationships are so important to him. And so how he stayed evolving and wanted to stay getting better, but also his motto of dream big. I mean, he lived that to the fullest, and what he wanted for his players and this program to be able to, that anything is possible. And I mean, it would take the whole hour to go through all the list of accomplishments of what he's been able to do and how he's pushed the envelope for the sport, for this program. I mean, he wouldn't take no for an answer. So, he just really allowed for, I think, just the entire nation to see what's possible when you support women's volleyball. And now we're seeing this huge explosion of growth. And there's no doubt in my mind that Nebraska and Coach Cook and what he's done here is the catalyst, big part of the catalyst of that. So handing it over to Danny Busboom Kelly, the first woman since, we're going to hear from JB, John Baylor, coming up. Funny story on him. I caught him. He didn't know. I actually broke the news to him. He's about to board a flight. And so I did get a chance to record a quick interview with him and get his thoughts on it. But, he had brought this up, and I think this is important too. But Danny Busboom Kelly, the first woman since, I think, 1971 to run this program. And so with, a strong woman at the helm, and we saw in the national championship match that it's going to be the first opportunity for a woman to win an NCAA Division I title with college volleyball. So, and came down, Penn State ends up winning it, but Danny Busboom Kelly, what she did at Louisville, how she built that program up, as we heard Troy talking about. When we chatted with Lauren back during the Final Four, and she was just so complimentary of the job that Danny had done at Louisville and how she did it. And, a lot of that she's done her own thing, but certainly the tutelage and the lessons and all the tools that she gained here at Nebraska. And of course, a native Nebraskan that played here, won a national title here. And I also think that's very important too, is just the understanding of how to navigate a program of this caliber and the expectations and the support and all of that. There's very few people that would understand it like Danny Busboom Kelly. So what a great replacement. It's I had asked Troy about this before we went on the air about, it's just so rare that you can have this kind of process, the handover like this, where you are really, really sad that Coach Cook has decided to hang it up and retire, but then on the same day you can really celebrate who he's handing the reins over to, and Danny Busboom Kelly, and still can be really, really super excited. So a couple things that I know needed to pass along. We will continue to celebrate and honor Coach Cook. I know people wanting to know when the statue's going up. We will. I know that there's going to be lots of talks and plans in place to make sure that Coach Cook is celebrated to the fullest, and everything is done to make sure that he is honored in the way. But I just, going back to, he could have done it in, hey, let me have a swan song season, and hey, let me have my time to celebrate me for what I've done here. But the fact that he wanted it to go as it did today, where it's handing it over, just again, so selfless. And so we will continue to celebrate Coach Cook and everything that he's done, and he'll still be a part of the program. Also getting some questions about if kicking back with the Cooks will still be around. We will see. I will ask and see what that entails. I gotta imagine Coach Cook wouldn't mind making some appearances with us, but and with Lauren here on the Huskers radio network, but he's going to be around. He's going to be a part. I know he's going to be in place here with the transition with the coach, with Danny coming in. He's going to stick around and help out. So met with the team. That was another thing that we had talked about last hour, but it was really, really special. Obviously, people knew that it was coming. It was planned, and there was conversations being had. But the fact that it didn't get out before the players were at both programs were informed of what was going on, that they could, both coaches, they could hear it from the coaches, and it could be handled that way. I thought was just really, it was great. In this day and age when people want to be the first and report the first and break the news, and I understand it, but also it comes with no consideration or very little consideration of what impact that does to these players when they're not hearing it from the source and getting to process that with their head coach and their coaching staff. So the fact that both Danny Busboom-Kelly and John Cook were able to do that with their programs and their teams, I think that was awesome. So great. Cannot say that enough. Also seeing several questions about Jordan Larson and if that was the reason why she had left. I think for Jordan, as we talked about on the show when the announcement came, she's still doing a lot of things, and she's she's has been the face of volleyball, and with it continuing to grow in the professional leagues and her still playing professionally, and just the process of that. I think realizing that she wants to focus on that. It's hard. I couldn't imagine being spread so thin and doing so many different things and all the demands that come with being a college coach, and then still trying to do some of the other things. But I think volleyball needs her and needs her voice, and I think she will continue to be an influence in this sport. And I think it means a lot to her to provide opportunities for women that she didn't always have with playing here in the United States. So I think she will be a big part of that, and she will be relied upon in that. And so she'll still be a part. She's obviously playing up in Omaha, so you can still see her there. But I think Jordan has been away from the program for a while. That conversation happened a while ago. The announcement had just come out recently, but so it had, I think Coach Cook hadn't even fully decided, from my knowledge. I know the conversations had not been even had here within the athletics department of him retiring. The Jordan Larson news came and decision came well before Coach Cook's and anything happened here today. So I think, I don't want to speak for her, but I got to imagine just her commitment to doing the professional thing and everything else just was maybe spread a little thin, so decided to move forward with that. Paul from Sydney had a Coach Cook thought that he wanted to pass along. I had a feeling that he would retire about 3 days ago. Coach Cook is one of a kind. And Randy Cornelius in Sydney, Nebraska. Jim in Columbus also said, when I first heard the news that John Cook retired, I felt a little sick to my stomach until I heard who he hired. Now I feel a whole lot better. That was the thing, too. I mean, Troy Dannen ultimately is going to make that decision, but certainly he's going to take into a lot of consideration into the suggestions of John Cook and who he think would be best suited to lead this program moving forward. And there's no doubt that Coach Cook was fully supportive of Danny Busboom-Kelly taking this over. So also some questions on some press conferences and when Coach Danny will be here and Coach Cook will be speaking to the media. Coach Cook has a press conference scheduled tomorrow, so he will be talking tomorrow. I'm sure he might have some announcements moving forward. I know there's been some reporting on the staff and who will be retained. I would imagine that, Kelly Hunter was a player here when Danny Busboom-Kelly was coaching here during her stint here as an assistant coach. They certainly have a relationship. Jalen Reyes has proven himself too. And I know that they all communicate just because of the ties to Nebraska. So I'm sure we'll have more announcements moving forward on that. But in this day and age, I know we've had few questions on the text line as well that we didn't get to last hour, talking about the roster and does this mean that people will transfer? I think a big part of maybe being able to retain a lot of these players, a lot of them I think want to stay here, be a part of this program and love it here. It's a tight-knit locker room. They know the resources that they have here, the fan support, playing in Dannen. None of them take that lightly. And so I don't foresee an exodus with this one like we do at a lot of places. I think a lot of players will stay locked in, and I think a big part of that too will be that two coaches that they have really, really strong relationships with sound like they're probably going to be sticking around. And Jalen Reyes and Kelly Hunter, we'll know for sure moving forward the decisions on that and the plans for that. But I think that's going to be a big part of that, retaining some of those players. But I know that they just look. Coach Cook had a meeting, and I'm sure he said, I'm sure we'll hear some of the things that he had passed along, but handing it over to someone that he knew that he trusts probably carries a lot of weight with that locker room. So we'll see. I know the players maybe next week might have some availability. They're going to be moving forward into beach season, so we'll be hearing from them. But it's always a possibility that you do have some of those transfers. But I don't see it happening here like it does at a lot of places when a coach leaves, just because I think he's leaving it in such good hands with the retaining of a couple of the staff members, and just with how special it is to be a Nebraska Cornhusker volleyball player. You just don't find that anywhere else in the country. The fan support, the NIL opportunities, the resources, the ability to win. They're going to continue to win. So I think there's a lot of boxes that check, and I think there will be a lot of players that want to stick around for that. But Danny Busman-Kelly will be here tomorrow, but she's just going to be here visiting for the day. Her press conference and welcoming will be next week, which we will have more information on coming forward. None of those details are not finalized yet. So we will have more of that to pass along when we get those. But Coach Cook will be speaking tomorrow, and then we will hear more as the week goes along. But what a day for Husker Nation. All right, I'm going to get to a break here. Coming up on the other side of this, we will hear from John Baylor, voice of Husker Volleyball, and his take on the news and what he thinks of the hire, too. A little hint here. He's a big fan of Danny Busman-Kelly. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
In the heartland
where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Again, if you want to be a part of the show, in our Sports Nightly hotline, 402-413-2400. Big news of the day. John Cook announcing his retirement, and Danny Busboom Kelly named as his replacement, the next head coach for Nebraska Volleyball. So when we knew the news was coming and we're going to try to get John Baylor on board to come on tonight, and he was, when I texted him, he said, I'm about to get on the flight. Can you call me now? And so I recorded on my phone. The iPhone update has a new deal where you can record your phone calls. And so pretty handy in a situation like this. And so I called him, and he's sitting on the plane, and he said, I apologize for the background noise, but so that's what you hear in the background is he is at the airport, and he didn't even know, he hadn't seen it because he was right. I called him right after the news broke, and so he hadn't seen it yet. And so I actually told him about it, and he was pretty surprised and shocked, but he actually ended up having to, the stewardess or the flight attendant ended up telling him, hey, turn off your phone. So he ended up hanging up on me in the end, or just cutting it off. But yeah, I did get a good chance to get a lot of great thoughts out of him. So here was my conversation with John Baylor, the voice of Husker Volleyball, right after the news of the day. Well, I was able to, the voice of Husker Volleyball. He's about to take off on a flight, so we wanted to get his thoughts really quickly. But JB, first of all, your initial reaction to Coach Cook announcing his retirement. Man, what a career.
Yeah, I'm really sad, but I'm also really happy for him. I'm not totally surprised, but I'm mildly surprised. I mean, he's a guy who's age 68 and at the top of his profession, doing his best work and his twilight years, professional years, and that's not something a lot of us can say. And what an amazing legacy. 7 Final Fours in the last 10 years, just stunning. And I just I'm really taken aback. So when I say I'm mildly surprised, I mean it, but he has earned it, and he will be missed. I mean, he is absolutely synonymous with his predecessor, with this program, and it's tough to imagine Nebraska volleyball without him.
What can you say just about the job that he's done since he's taken over, his evolution, but then his desire to continue to push the sport and, you know, his motto of dream bigger? I mean, just nothing was unattainable for Husker volleyball. He wasn't going to accept no.
Well, most of us live life risk averse. Jessica, John Cook does not. He embraces challenge. He, in 2000, when we were traveling to Beijing, the Husker Vision camera was confiscated by Chinese security at the Beijing airport. And he got Congressman B. Ryder's office involved, and we got that camera back so that that entire trip could be filmed. I mean, we basically had a global incident there because of a camera. That's John Cook, making sure that he does everything he can to forward this program. And then 2014, he had not been to a Final Four in 6 years, and was in the midst of really a reevaluation of how he was coaching and how the program was advancing. And he implemented so many changes. I'll just give you an example. In 2015, his setter at the time in her first year, Kelly Hunter, asked him to, sit down during matches because, in her opinion, it wasn't helping. It was just sort of exacerbating the stress they were feeling when they had made a mistake. And he did. He listened. I mean, that's something that, a younger Coach Cook may not have done. He may have just followed his instinct, but he really opened up and connected with his players and related with them in a new way that a younger John Cook had not. And sorry about the overhead noise here, but I just really admire him for evolving. He made those changes when he was in his mid to late 50s, and just pretty impressive.
Well, the announcement has also come out that it will be the former Husker and someone that's name is very, very prominent in Husker or in college volleyball. Danny Busboom Kelly is named the next head coach. What can you say just about that and how ready she is to take over at her alma mater?
So deserving. She is one of the great recruiters in the history of the sport. She is one of the most authentic people you'll ever find. She is beloved by Husker fans. She loves this program so much. I cannot imagine how difficult a decision it was for her to have to leave that program she loves. So she has built at Louisville a program which occasionally would flirt with the top 20 and now is a perennial top 5 program and has been to 3 Final Fours. Louisville volleyball has been to 3 Final Fours in this half decade. Just stunning what she has accomplished. She has the trust of so many parents. She has the trust of so many teenage elite volleyball players. And I know she has the trust of Husker fans, and she certainly has my trust as the new keeper of the Husker Flame.
Yeah, on that note, when you talk about taking over this caliber of program, how important was it to have someone too with some familiarity of the history and just the expectations and what it means to be the head coach at Husker volleyball? It's it's just not an everyday job that you find across the country.
I think it's critical. It's a unique phenomenon, not just in this sport, but in all college sports. And we learned in 2004 that you want to be very careful before you rip up the roots of a legendary program. And this is not that at all. This is passing it on to a mentee, a former player, a former national champion in 2006 as a libero, an in-state kid. Now, is there a guarantee this will succeed? No. There are no guarantees in this sport, which is so competitive and has so much money now flowing into it and so much attention. But I can't imagine a person better qualified for this honor. And for her to be the first, let's say the second woman, the first woman to run this program since 1976 is something to consider as well. Just it's fabulous that a former player who's so decorated as a coach will get this chance.
Wow. Just with a lot of coaches, they might leave when it's not at the peak and whatnot. And for Coach Cook to have left this place in the way that it is, to hand it over to Danny Busboom Kelly, what does that say about him? And, how exciting is that too, that I guess it's just you expect just the torch to be carried, I guess, right?
Well, he's following a fine example. Terry Pettit did the same thing when he hired John Cook in 1979 as a top assistant. And Coach Cook is doing the same. He's making sure that he leaves this program in very, very good hands. I mean, it's just not easy to do. I mean, John Wooden was unsuccessful in doing that. He turned over UCLA to Gene Bartow, and Gene Bartow lasted 1 year before he got out of Dodge and headed to Alabama Birmingham. It's very difficult. Just ask Ray Perkins to follow a legend in coaching. And so it has to be the right person, the right temperament, a person familiar with this, and it's going to be very difficult. I mean, Coach Busboom took over a program at Louisville that didn't quite have these expectations, and she created those expectations on her own. Well, those expectations are in place right now. So it's quite a day for basketball. Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks, JB. You heard him there. He got cut off. Sir, you gotta hang up the phone. But I'm sure we'll hear much more thoughts from John Baylor, as nobody knows it and has a perspective better than the John Baylor, as long as he's been calling Husker volleyball. And but you heard him. He gives his stamp of approval as well. I did want to read this statement from Kelly Sheffield, the head coach at Wisconsin. He put out this statement a few minutes ago and post on thoughts on John Cook retiring, consistent excellence. But I wanted to read the whole quote because it is great. He said, "I'm sitting on a plane trying to process the news that I just received. John Cook just retired. Immediately, I think back about 15 years ago while I was still coaching at the University of Dayton. John had just taken his team on an international trip, and I reached out to him to pick his brain. We didn't know each other well at this point, but for the next several hours, he sent me everything he had on his trip, planning and itinerary. It was late into the night, and I couldn't believe he was doing this for me. I wouldn't be where I am as a coach without John. I studied everything he did, from training, systems, community involvement, fan engagement, staff organization, everything. He set the bar and was the ultimate example of how to run an elite program. He did not just have an elite team, but he ran an elite program. There's a difference. I want to publicly thank John for making the Wisconsin program better during his time here in Madison as the head coach, and more importantly, for being the standard in running a championship program. You've made the sport better. You made me better. Thank you, congratulations, and best wishes." Wow, that is a powerful statement there from Kelly Sheffield, the head coach at Wisconsin volleyball. I'm going to step aside for a break, and on the other side of this, I want to get to a really special moment that happened here today inside the stadium. We talked about it with Troy Dannen, but the naming of the radio booth after our fearless leader Greg Sharpe. We're going to bring you that coming up on the other side of this. Keep it here.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Big day here in Lincoln. Got to give a shout out to our student intern, Camden Cohn. He just sent me a post from Harper Murray that was on her TikTok, and it's hard for me to keep up with everything right now. So, but I appreciate him sending this, and because go looking out, Harper Murray. You know, she started the TikTok, Coach Cook's TikTok account, and they had some great moments, some funny moments that went viral basically every time they posted a video. So she posted a video. You could tell she's sad. She's been crying, but she said, Coach Cook, and tag Coach Cook's TikTok account. One last video, question mark, and then a fan had commented, please stay, we love you, and she commented back to that fan, I'm not going anywhere. So great stuff there. Appreciate Camden sending that to us. Okay, so I told you guys we would get to this, but what a special day, special moment, special event that took place this morning inside Memorial Stadium. Greg Sharpe was honored. He had no idea it was coming. It was set up behind his back because I don't know if he would have. He's not one that likes to make it about himself. He likes to make it about everybody else. And so he didn't know it was coming. Matt Davison was involved. His wife, Amy, who was wonderful. Troy Dannen, Brandon Meyer. There's this gathering that took place today. And you've seen the Husker belt that Troy Dannen gives out every month to the Husker of the month. So he came in and we were standing there and he was given this belt, but I wanted to play for you guys a video and how it all unfolded here this afternoon.
Welcome. Look at this crew. Welcome. So here's why everybody came. This year we created Husker of the Month. And there's a lot of reasons why you could be Husker of the Month. But honestly, for not just everything you've done up till this point, but what you went through this year and how you did it and how you represented us and how you just keep being the consummate Husker. We want to go upstairs in the radio booth, take some pictures, and let's do that.
Thank you all for being here.
Right. Go in the booth? Well, let's take a picture outside the booth. How about right here? So now that you're Employee of the Month, you finally qualify to have your name on something. And Keith Jackson's name is on the television booth. A legend of legends. And now we have a legend of legends name on the radio booth.
Keith had a bathroom. I'm better off.
Congratulations, my friend. Let's get some photos.
wish there was something above thank you to tell you, but that's all the best I can do right now. But with this university, what Troy, what you and your staff have done for me the last 6 months, I can't tell you how thankful I am to be here.
There's no better name for that radio booth than the Greg Sharpe radio booth. Again, thanks to Troy Dannen and Brandon Meyer and Troy's staff and everybody that was involved in making that. What a special moment. And I know it meant a lot to him. So Greg is planning to join us on Friday for a little bit. So we'll hopefully chat with him then. And it was pretty fun to hear him and Matt Davison talking about that call and how Davison, they said he sounded like a little girl on the call, but a legendary call. So we'll hopefully chat about that. But I'm sure Greg's got a lot of thoughts about a lot of things that are going on around here. So I can't wait to chat with him on the program on Friday, because we will not have a show tomorrow with basketball on the network. So we will be back on Friday, where we will hopefully chat with Greg. Zach from Columbus on the text line said, what an amazing moment for Greg. I was headed into the gym. When I watched the video, I had to sit in my truck for a few extra minutes to collect myself before going in. Well deserved. Yeah, it's also been incredible, the outpouring and how many people have, been touched by what we saw today. And I'm so happy that it was able to happen. And, Greg's one of his daughters is in Florida, and were FaceTiming her, and so she actually got to see it too. So his daughters were there, and an incredible family, and so it was a really, really special moment. So glad it was done, and there again, like I said, no better name than the Greg Sharpe radio booth. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get to our final break and then talk some hoops on the other side of this. 402-413-2400 is that number if you, again, want to text in your thoughts about Greg or volleyball, anything that's going on today. A lot going on. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Huskers fans, let's call a timeout on the court and in life. When the game gets tough, Nebraska stands together as a family, as a team. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. You're part of the Husker family, and every member is valued on and off the court. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Husker fans, Nebraska baseball is back and better than ever. Fresh off their first Big Ten tournament championship and ranked 24th in the nation, the Huskers are ready to bring the heat this season at Hawks Field. Season tickets are on sale now and start at just $150 for general admission and $225 for reserve. Get your tickets today and don't miss any of the action at Haymarket Park. Visit Huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED to secure your seat today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Here is What's on Tap, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. We've got a couple big basketball games coming up tomorrow. The men back home looking get back in that win column, get some good things rolling again. 7:30 the tip against Illinois, and 6:30 pregame there with Kent Pavelka and Jake Muehlheisen. And then they'll head to Oregon on Sunday for the big game there. But huge win for the men tomorrow. They need to find a way to get some positive things, and then it can snowball from there. Women's basketball, they are at Purdue tomorrow night. 6 o'clock tip for that one. Matt Coatney, Jeff Grace will be on the call at 5:30 with the pregame show there for us here on the Huskers Radio Network. We heard Amy Williams talking about that matchup on Monday night on her show, that the record is not indicative of how good this team is, and Purdue's a really tough place to play. So big matchup there, and look to bounce back. I thought there were a lot of positives in the loss to Ohio State, but certainly some things that I know they're going to address and clean up and try to be better for. But big one on the road is always tough to still a road win in the Big Ten Conference. And then they're got another tough one at Indiana on Sunday, and they are going to stay on the road from Purdue to Indiana. So a couple big basketball games for both programs coming up here on Thursday and Sunday. And sorry, I didn't have a chance to really list out everything that's going on, but I do know another event that's going on. Women's gymnastics back at home inside the Devaney Center at 7 o'clock on Saturday. I'm going to actually be calling that for Big Ten Plus. Kinsey Davis is going to be calling that, former Husker, be calling that with us. So they are taking on Iowa inside the Devaney Center. So, and then, of course, tomorrow we do have the press conference. I was double checking the time. It's 11 a.m., Russ. Do we know for sure? I think it's 11 a.m. For the Coach Cook press conference, which we will carry live here on our platforms on YouTube and all of that. We typically do. So, sorry, I was trying to confirm. Yes, it's 10 a.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Coach Cook will address the media. So we will carry that on Huskers.com and our YouTube channel as well. So got a text in that I wanted to read from Bob in Lincoln. No, sorry. I can't read it from here, but a huge shout out to Greg Sharpe on another well-deserved honor. He's not just the voice of the Huskers, but my number one role model. I do anything to meet this guy. He seems so cool. More than anything, and sorry, I can't read the rest of it, but appreciate that. Yes, huge shout out to Greg. That's a great sentiment there. Appreciate that coming in there. Okay, what else did I have on this? Oh, also coming up tomorrow. Sorry, little scatterbrain, a lot going on here. The Husker football team, they are announced that they're going to have that dunk contest. I've been talking this week. I didn't want to spill it till they had announced it officially from the Husker football accounts, but they are bringing back the dunk contest that was such a hit last year that Jeremiah Charles won. He was the reigning champion, and he will be participating in that dunk contest once again. And so it'll be tomorrow night inside PBA. And along with Jeremiah Charles, Quinn Clark will be competing. Heinrich Harburg back in the competition as well. I think he will probably be a fan favorite. Emmett Johnson will be playing. He was a really, really good basketball player. I've said this before, but I go back to when I talked to him on his signing day. He was about to leave to go play in a basketball game that night, and he ends up dropping like 27 that night. So he is probably counted out because he's not the tallest, but he can jump. And I talked to him last year before, and he felt pretty good. So I'm sure he is pretty fired up to go compete in this. And then Connor Shutt and Dasan McCullough, who is the transfer from Oklahoma, that will be competing in that. So it should be fun. And I don't know how you can go against probably a heavy favorite in Jeremiah Charles and the reigning champion. And a lot of people, before we even knew what Jeremiah Charles could do last year, when I had asked a couple of the players who was going to win it, they said emphatically that it would be Jeremiah. So we'll see what bag of tricks that he has for this one, and if anyone can dethrone him. But it was a lot of fun. I think the crowd really enjoyed it. The team really enjoyed it, and they were able to post it on social media. And everything you do like that is, plays a part in recruiting. And so I know a lot of the recruits back then had talked about that they wanted to compete in the dunk contest moving forward. So should be really fun night, and hopefully, maybe an appearance by new head coach Danny Busboom Kelly here taking over the reins if she has a chance to get over there inside PBA. And again, hopefully a win for Nebraska men's basketball. Fred Hoiberg met with the media today, and, it was pretty fascinating. He said, the sky's not falling, but it's crumbling. They've got to find a way to dig deep. We heard Ernie Ziegler on the men's basketball show on Monday just talking about it. It's a group, they got to look themselves in the mirror and do their job. So hopefully it'll be a tall task against Illinois, but if you can get one rolling, you never know what can happen from there. So big one coming up tomorrow inside PBA with lots surrounding it, lots going on too. So should be a fun night there. Carla, one of our favorite texters, just texted in, and she said, what a day for the Husker athletic department. Outstanding coach leaving a tremendous program in great standing for an excellent incoming coach / former player, and having time to honor an outstanding broadcaster of Husker sports. Absolutely. What a day. It's been fun. It's been a buzz here on campus, and get big things coming up this weekend with Junior Day and, with the football program. We're hoping here in the next couple of weeks to get to chat with a few of those new assistant coaches as they trickle in. They're, I think, going to be still out on the road or out next week, but coming up soon, we'll chat with those. And I got a week from today is National Girls and Women in Sports Day, and I've got some fun stuff planned for that. We're going to chat with a few of the big time ladies that have made big impacts here in Husker Athletics. So we've got some fun stuff planned for that. I got a chance to chat with Karen Jennings yesterday. We were going to run that interview for you tonight, but obviously things changed, and so we wanted to put the focus on Coach Cook and Danny Busboom-Kelly and Greg, and so we will bring that conversation for you. And we also did some position previews with Nate and Nick, which we've been talking about, so I can't wait to get that assembled and get that out for you guys, as Husker softball will be opening up their season a week from tomorrow, and then Husker baseball 2 weeks from Friday. So we are right there, right around the corner from being all in on crossover season. It's always a fun time. Boy, I am a little parched. Russ, I just did want to get your thoughts, though, if you could hop in here. How special was it? You were there today to get to honor Greg with the booth naming and the belt, everything. It just was just such a special day.
Oh, it really was, Jessica. And I was just beaming from ear to ear the entire time. And Josh and I, as we walked into the lobby and we see Troy Dannen standing there with that championship belt, I thought that was pretty cool. And then to see his family there waiting, Ben was there, and just a lot of different people from the Husker athletic department there to honor him. And the way those guys were able to keep this all a secret, I thought that was probably the best part of it, to see the surprise and the look on his face. And I had a chance to go up yesterday and see the quote and the sign above the door. And I just think Brendan Meyer and the staff here did a tremendous job putting that whole thing together. And what a great honor, and, a deserving honor for sure.
Yeah. It was really cool. We might have to talk to the sponsors about that. We have a new name for the radio booth, so we'll see how that goes moving forward. But what a day. Wow. We will bring you lots more coming up. We got some interviews lined up. We'll get some more perspective from volleyball. I had talked to Emily Eamon. She wanted to come on, but she also was on a flight, believe it or not. So she, hopefully we might be able to chat with her and get some other takes on Husker volleyball. And we'll hear from the man himself, John Cook, tomorrow. And it will be fascinating to hear all his takes in the process, the thought process, and all of that good stuff. Dr. Jay and Carney, will we get one last podcast with the Cooks? Looking back with the Cooks. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept it rolling and still continued a monthly conversation. We'll see. We have not gotten there yet, but we will make sure and put that ask in and see what kicking back with the Cooks, the future of that podcast does moving forward. All right, we're off the air tomorrow night with a big Husker Hoops game, but we'll be back Friday night with a full 2 hours. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. T&L Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, T&L Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown!